Guys, welcome to my video. Tonight I am making Brunswick Stew, which again is not a vegan dish, but it's one that I'm making vegan. First thing you're going to do is saute some onions for a few minutes, and then you're going to add in some garlic, saute that up together. You're going to want to stir this pretty frequently because the garlic does have a tendency to burn, and it will ruin your dish if you burn the garlic. You will have to start all over again. Go ahead and add about 3 cups of veggie stock. This is my homemade veggie stock. I will do a video on how I use food scraps to make stock or compost at another time. You're going to go ahead and add the potatoes that have already been cubed up, and then add the lima beans to that. I did soak them ahead of time and par cooked them so they wouldn't need to cook as long in the stew. It did call for canned beans, which I don't have. Then I added 2 cups of frozen corn. This is my preference for vegetables that are not in season is to get frozen because they are picked at the peak of freshness and then flash frozen. Then I'm going to go ahead and add about half this can of diced tomatoes. It called for a 14-ounce can. I didn't have that. I had a 28-ounce can, so I just eyeballed what looked to be about half. I will store that can in the refrigerator and use it for another recipe. One way that I stop things from sort of getting lost in the refrigerator and then eventually going bad is I intentionally plan my meals around using that entire can. So it will get used, and I definitely try to minimize the chance of things getting wasted in the refrigerator. Food waste is something that is a big issue and something that I'm really trying to work hard to eliminate, if not minimize at least. You're going to go ahead and stir this all to combine. This is not a recipe that you really need to babysit too much. So making sure it's combined, then you're going to go ahead and throw a lid on there and simmer it. Again, all the cooking times will be on my blog. This is our delicious cornbread made by Hans. He is the baker in the house. I am still perfecting baking, so I asked him to make the cornbread for our dinner. One thing I did while this was simmering is I made a coleslaw, which is simple cabbage, shredded up carrots, a little vegan mayo, and it's served on the side. You'll see that at the end. This is about 2 cups of barbecue sauce, which is the last of that homemade barbecue sauce that I made earlier in the week. If you saw my cowboy beans recipe, most of it went in that, and then the rest went in this. I made sure that I made exactly what I needed, so again, that it's fresh and nothing is going to waste. Those are all the dry spices getting added in. I will have all, like I said in my blog, all the exact measurements of everything that went in there, cooking times and that kind of thing. Again, you're going to stir to combine, and you can put a lid on it at this point and let it simmer for a little bit longer. One thing I forgot to film is me adding the artichoke hearts that were shredded up and hydrated soy curls, and those are the meat replicas in this dish. This dish would normally have shredded chicken and shredded pork, which are not vegan, so I went ahead and did a vegan approximation of those. We try not to eat a lot of mock meats in the house, meaning like those frozen things that replicate meat, because they're processed and mostly because they're not gluten-free. We have been finding some gluten-free ones, but they're not all gluten-free, so adding something a little different. You want to make sure you test for taste in case it needs anything, and then I'm testing to see the doneness of the beans and potatoes. It needed a little bit more time, so I went ahead and let it simmer on the stove without the lid for some time until everything was done. Here's the finished product. It was delicious. Thanks again, guys, for watching our video. Vegan Home Economist, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.